most people think that they're lost. However, that's not the case. They're just being led by, not by purpose, not by the discipline, and not by anything that is solid. They're being led by whatever is the loudest that day, the emotions, the impulse, their fears, and the need for comfort, and the need to escape the right now, whatever is the reality, and the need just to feel okay. And it feels like, so they just keep starting over and wanting to build that momentum, and it feels like they're trying but not really actually getting anywhere. This is Elijah, and whatever leads the way will not lead you astray. What leads the way will not lead you astray. And that's because something is always leading you. And if you don't choose what is actually leading you, it's just whatever base your attentions on first, that is what's actually gonna start shaping you. And that's the problem, is because people don't stop to ask that question: what is actually leading me right now? Because if you're being led by the wrong thing, you're just drifting off course, and you not even realize that you're just not following your true self. You think it's a motivational problem, and you think, hey, I need more clarity, or I need that more confidence, or hey, I need to be certain more. This is when you start looking for more proof of what you're doing to actually work. But that's the real problem. The real problem is most people train themselves to follow the right thing, doing it consistently. They feel inspired, then they move. If they're overwhelmed, then they kind of fall apart. And if when they feel insecure, that's when they disappear. And when the pressure hits, that's when they fold. I know this because I have experienced that. I was trying to be get on stable and trying to make the money or build something that is meaningful and become someone who are actually respect. But if I was being honest, I wasn't building. I was actually reacting. I was reacting from pressure, reacting from the uncertainty, and reacting to fear, and and the fact that my life didn't look like as it should have been. Some days I felt like I was disciplined, clear, focused, and on point. And when I wasn't, that's when I started becoming overwhelmed, and things were just fell apart. When the pressure hit, the money pressure, self-doubt, and comparison, and that's when the frustration kind of kicked in. And that feeling didn't feel like I was moving and like I thought I would be. And suddenly I wasn't following that discipline anymore. I was following urgency. I was following dire emotions, and I was following needing to fix everything right now. And the problem with that is that it just it might feel like a cry for being productive, but however, nothing really sticks. Lots of the time, urgency is just panic in disguise. And this is when you abandon the long game for short-term relief. And this is when you start switching plans when things not too early. And this is when you start doubting yourself too quickly, and you seek certainty with people and with things that are like not meant for that to happen. You jump from strategy to another, and before things hit or land, this is when things kind of fall apart, and you keep thinking there might be a better plan. However, you don't need a better plan. What you need is better leadership. This is the part where most people don't see that until years have passed. And this is when you decide and you follow the wrong thing, and this is when you kind of stay stuck. the loss is that you stop trusting yourself along the process, and every time you say you're gonna do something, then you don't. And every time you say that your mood decides what is going to happen, and it just decides your values. And every time you abandon the plan because whatever that emotion is speaking to you the loudest. And this is teaches you that you don't trust your word for nothing. And that man stops trusting himself, and this is when life starts to get heavier. So you become the guy who almost had it, and the guy that has potential but no structure, and the guy that means well, however, things don't follow through. The guy that's trying to figure things out and coming a long way to be committed. However, the real cost is not just bad results, it's like you're losing yourself and you're losing your identity. and and this is when you feel like you're being led by the wrong things, and it can feel unsettling and unstable. You are not becoming what you say you are. You're becoming some someone who what you repeat and what you keep repeating. And it's that's when you obey comfort, you become fragile. And when you obey fear, you become hesitant. When you obey distraction, that's when you start to scatter. And when you obey the impulse, you become inconsistent. And when you obey the truth, that's when you become clear. And when you obey what you respect, this is when you value and you start craving that what someone follows that truth. And this habit, your habits matter so much. It's not just because the routines are trendy, it's because, and it's not because the discipline um, sounds impressive. It's because that your habits actually reveals your loyalty, and that's what actually leads you toward the right directions. It's not what inspires you that one time. It's not what you just wrote down in that burst of that moment. It's not that you promise that you trust yourself by like Sunday. It's what leads your ordinary days and what builds your ordinary life, and that your ordinary life becomes that anchor in your future. So you ask me what should lead me, and I'll tell you, it's not your mood, it's not your fear, and it's not that what you feel certainly before you do that thing, and it's not that you need to feel good about yourself every single day. What should lead you is something much stronger than your current emotion. It's something that you always come back to. And this is when things go uncertain, or when things become discouraging, and when you feel like you're broke, and when things feel frustrating, and when you kind of feel like you're behind. This looks like you follow regardless, and you can respect what you've done tomorrow, and you follow what keeps your life more stable, and you follow what you build that trust within yourself, and you follow that even when you're not feeling like times the right thing doesn't feel all that exciting, and it doesn't feel like um so it does feel repetitive, and it feels like slow and stable and somewhat invisible. However, when you hold and your truth, and you get rooted in that, and you get rooted in the discipline, and you get rooted what actually helps you build yourself and not escape that, that will lead you astray. If your life feels off right now, stop asking, what do I want to do? Or what do I feel like I want to do? And ask a better question. What has been leading me lately? Because whatever that is, that's when you start, your life feels scattered, and it's because you feel like you're more like lost. It's because that whatever that something is leading you down the wrong path. And this is when you take charge of your life and you become loyal to what leads you, and whatever that thing that leads you is leading the way in your life, and that's the